What is up, guys? Jaythestingray back here again on another glorious Cocktober day. This is going to be a review for The Last Boy Scout from 1991, recommended by my good buddy and fellow Sausage Factory member, ORC. I can't even remember the damn names. ORC 145626. Easy one to remember, Orc. But yeah, thanks a lot for the recommendation, man. I know you're probably a big fan of this movie, as am I. This is one that, thankfully, I have an older brother who was able to get me into this movie. I would have been 10, 11 years old when this came out, and I saw this in the theater, and I just loved it ever since. It's been quite a while since I've seen it. Watched it the other night, and just loved every second of it. This is a very watchable movie, very entertaining movie, and it's probably my favorite Tony Scott movie, and next to the Die Hard films, it's probably my favorite Bruce Willis as well. I may change that later, but it's a damn fine movie. It is stars, of course, Bruce Willis, Damon Wayans. They're the two main guys in the movie, and this is another film that stars Danielle Harris. This is actually the same year as Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead that I reviewed earlier in the month. Same year, they both came out in '91, but she looks a lot older in this movie. I don't know if she just aged a lot in between the shoots or what, but she looks a lot older. And this is one of the first films of Halle Berry that I think, one of the first films that I remember seeing her in. And all the bad mafia guys are like, you've seen them in tons of other like mafia type, action movies or cop dramas, whatever. But just a chock full of great actors and actresses in this film. But it's a really cool film in a lot of different ways. But yeah, Tony Scott directed it, and I'm trying to figure out where I need to start here. It's a football movie. It starts out with a really great opening sequence, very memorable, where this guy gets a phone call. He finds out he needs to lose the game or score a touchdown, whatever. I think it's score a touchdown, and he snorts a bunch of coke, or I think it's actually PCP. I thought it was coke when I was a kid, but I think it's actually PCP. And grabs a revolver, and he gets on the field, and he gets the ball, starts running, and he just starts shooting dudes in front of him, just mowing them down. And goes and then shoots himself in the head, and that's how the movie starts. And it's really cool because it pokes a lot of fun at the NFL and how the NFL was then, and a lot of ways still is today. A lot of illegal betting was a big thing around that time, and gambling, the mafia, all that good stuff. But it's got a guy, Noble Willingham, who plays Shelley Marcone, who I think is supposed to be like a Jerry Jones type character, and I only say that because he's got tons of money, he's in oil, and he's always wears a cowboy hat. That's the only reason I'm basing that on that. But yeah, that's really interesting on the film. And Damon Wayans, this is the first time I ever saw him in a non-comedic role. I was a huge fan of In Living Color at the time. And that's not why I saw this movie, but I was expecting him to be funny, and he was, but he did a great job in the dramatic acting as well. I thought, you never would have guessed that he was, a comedian turned serious actor. But yeah, man, he really cuts it up acting wise. There's some serious scenes where Halle Berry plays a stripper and his girlfriend, and she gets mowed down, and that's when Damon Wayans and Bruce Willis' character, Jimmy Dix, and Joe Hallenbeck. Joe Hallenbeck is he's a cop, former Secret Service, and Damon Wayans' character, Jimmy Dix, he was a quarterback, I believe, and he got released because of drug problems, whatever. And just a few years before this movie, was based in the current time, around 1991. And they get together, and from the second they meet each other to the second the credits roll, they are just tossing one-liners at each other, and it's great. It does get a little old at times, but I still really enjoy it. It's some pretty funny shit goes on between them two, and I think they really play off each other well. I really am kind of surprised they didn't try to do like a sequel or something to this movie, because it's so well done, you know. So I don't know what happened there, but perfect place for a sequel. But yeah, if you haven't seen this film, you got to see it. It's the pinnacle of action movies in the '90s. I think there are some '80s action movies that are better, but this is as good as it gets in the '90s. This is a fucking awesome masterpiece of action, and some great action scenes in there. There's lots of memorable scenes from when I was a kid too. Like there's a scene when Bruce Willis punches a guy in the nose and pushes his nose bone or whatever it is into his brain stem and kills the guy. And I know it was always like a discussion on the playground between me and my friends, like, you know, is that possible? Could that really happen? And it was I liked the scene a lot when Daniel Harris gives Bruce Willis the gun, her it's a puppet bear, and it has a gun inside. That's how they escape the bad guys at one time, you know, one point. And I also really like the scene at the end when the guy falls into the helicopter blades. It's just fucking awesome, man. So many memorable moments in this film that I had forgotten about, that, you know, were so you know, important in my life, you know, when I was younger. But great film all around. You know, there's not a whole lot negative I can say about it. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's fucking awesome. Thanks for recommendation, Orc. You're awesome. Take care, guys. Peace.